What is up, Generals? We're back with Ultimate Generals Civil War, and this is the P Rebalance Mod. Confederate, let's play. Let's go ahead and jump in. We're going to take a look at the state of the Confederacy right after the skirmish at Chantilly, and we are getting ourselves ready for, leading up to Antietam, the attack at the weapons factory. So for that battle, we can bring, I believe, 14, maybe 12 units. 14. So we currently have too many. We got to cut 2 of them down. What I think we're looking to do here is spread out our experience. So as much as I like 16th Tennessee, we're going to go ahead and pull them out. And we're going to go ahead and pull out one more unit, and that's going to be the 5th Napoleon. So that'll get us down to our 12. Then we got to ask ourselves if this is a mix that we actually like. So, Weapons Factory tasks the player with crossing this river or starting, like, there's a way you can do it where you can start yourself on this side of the river. What did you guys knock over? God dang it. Crazy cats. Whatever, I'll get it later. You have an opportunity to, there's a way you can kind of worm yourself. So you start here. You can worm Mya or possibly even Mya and shoot at the Union from there. Alternatively, you can stack all your stuff and advance kind of up this side of the map here and fight and then kind of shoot them from there. If you can get into this position, it's really a great opportunity for the Confederates because you're in cover and you're shooting downhill. And the reason that I kind of like sometimes splitting, putting some effort over here and some effort over here is that they're sort of caught betwixt a rock and a hard place. So with that being said, we want some counter battery because in my past experience, the Union brings a pretty healthy amount of artillery, which this force will provide a pretty healthy amount of counter battery. Let's go ahead and bump 9th Ordnance to the regulation 8 guns. We'll leave Whitworth's, the Siege, and the Ordnance all there. These are all batteries that are in pretty good conditions, pretty good stead, and will do an okay job for counter battery work. Similarly, I am content with 4th Texas Long Rifles staying in the unit or in the larger attack force, as well with 3rd North Carolina Light Infantry. We are going to bump them up to, let's say, 350. However, I know that earlier in the campaign, I had been kind of running with a light infantry size of maybe 400, 500. But I've spoken with Panda Kraut and, well, not spoken, I've typed with Panda Kraut. And the different unit types all affect scaling generally. The overall size of your corps affects scaling. Additionally, the individual unit types affect scaling within their unit type. So if you bring more cavalry, for example, the AI will also bring more cavalry. If you bring larger skirmish units, the AI will also bring larger skirmish units. So that's kind of what put the kibosh on my Grenzer units. Some of you who watch my older videos will remember I was very attracted to the idea of melee light infantry. These were units that were, 1,000 men, and the objective was to go for all the speed perks and have them be melee units. And the thought process was that, generally speaking, light infantry suffers less incoming fire. And that bore out at the tail end of the 1.24 version of the mod. But we're in 1.25.2, and I believe 1.25.3 is actively in testing, or it may even be a test model may be released. So bringing 1,000-man skirmisher units like the Grenzers meant that I was facing 600-man skirmish units in every one of my battles, 2, 3, 4 of them, and for the rest of the army, skirmish units are a real pain in the butt. So I've sort of adopted a smaller unit size. Now, remember, here my strategy vis-a-vis the reputation perks is I'm saving up to spend on the 2,000 Enfields. I can buy relatively affordably at some juncture or another CSR 1855s. They're spendy, but they're not end of the universe expensive. So I'm okay with waiting on those. Plus, you get 500 more weapons. That's a much better bang for your buck in terms of points per spend. Plus, I'm very impressed with the Enfield. It's the kind of thing that I'm hard pressed to afford bringing in a larger unit, especially if you have to pay cash for it. But if I can get it for perk points, or even better, capture them off the enemy, then so much the better. We're going to bring our rifle units all back to regulation size. I'm liking 15 for now. I'm hesitant to push a whole lot higher, and I'm content to continue filling them up with raw recruits. I guess you're fine, especially because you're about to tick over to your second star. So let's definitely just leave you where you're at. Nice round number. As long as you pick up 3 stat points anywhere in this battle, you should be fine. Sure, we got plenty of Lorenzas, which makes me very happy as far as that part's concerned too, for the purposes of building out the army for Antietam, because I am going to need all 3 corps. Oh, 15 South Carolina also about ready to pick up their second star, which is great. So we're going to bring them right up to 15 hundo and leave them there. All right, so they're going to need to gain some stamina points, or some points, which is fine. Again, it's the cost of using rookies in all these units. 19th Virginia is coming along well, also pretty close to their second star. I'm tempted to throw vets at some of these units, but I don't know. I'm also perfectly content to just level them sort of organically in this regard. The Grenadiers are, I would say that they're on the way to their second star, but these units are kind of intended to just sort of be big meatball units. So they're going to have a hard time kind of statistically replacing their losses. And it's the nature of the beast, I suppose, with that. All right, we'll bring you up to 1,500 as well. And you get the deal, right? All the infantry hangs out at 15. And I'm not actively working on the bring everyone you can model anymore. So let's go ahead and give you, actually, what's your firearm stat? Not that great, but I've got 61s to spare, and it's still a better rifle than the 1841. So you get an upgrade, and we pump you to 15. Okay, so this is the force we're going to take to the skirmish at the weapons factory, wherein, if we're successful, the Confederacy will capture the factory at Harper's Ferry. If I'm not mistaken, we're in Virginia. It does appear as if we are either in Virginia or Maryland. However, I'm pretty sure we're at Harper's Ferry, which makes me think that we're in Virginia. All right. So they get a small debuff to their army size, and we have rough numeric parity, near enough as makes no difference as far as I'm concerned. They have a significant gun advantage, and in the last battle we were fighting against James's. So I worry there, but we'll see. In order to advance, seize Harper's Ferry, capture the factory. Most of the Union posts up generally around here. There are some folks up this way. The guard of the ferry has left the town to capture these heights, halt our advance, capture the heights, clear the way to the ferry. Sure. So, like I said, there's a way to start on this side of the river. It's not that crossing this river is that big a deal, but it bottlenecks a lot of your forces when you don't have to be bottlenecked. You can just be over here, and it doesn't take that long to spread out. There is a school of thought, one that I'm not super sure I want to go down tonight, where you put your counter artillery here, and then you go to town. In the vanilla game, I have thought about putting like a 24-pound howitzer unit right here and just going nuts or whatever. My intention probably is to take my sniper unit and have them come around here and see if they can't get some pot shots off on stuff. And the idea there is that they can spot. Because we have James's, Siege's, and Whitworth's, we'll have an extreme range advantage. So I actually am going to go ahead and that's the light infantry. I'm going to take the long rifles. Notice they're Their long range is kind of the thought process there, right? Is let's just get them over the river. Everybody else gets to go over here. As you can see, very precise. You guys have to be super careful where you put these things. These decisions absolutely matter. Super precise, very scientific. and there you go. It's the expanding Confederate Army. Okay, and so we're going to put these guys kind of just really out of the way. Broad strokes battle plan is I'm going to push up and attempt to get my artillery. Let's take a look at if we can see the terrain. Kind of, yeah. So the game doesn't do a wonderful job visually. Like so, I mean, how am I trying to explain this? This game is in fact played on a three-dimensional plane. You do not really get that sense, especially considering that your units are composed of two-dimensional sprites. But the game is fought on a three-dimensional plane. The Union Army is in just this terrible spot. They have some units in the woods, not many, and it's possible to shell them out. There are some units out here. But as you can see, the way the terrain works, if you can occupy this position and then block so they can't try and get south and cross your river, there's nowhere for them to go. There's no cross, nothing. You can't cross anywhere over here. You can't cross any of this. You can't do anything. So short of, and I've seen them do this was very frustrating, hiding in this back corner, there's really nowhere for them to go if you can occupy Mya and block Mya. And so that's our objective. That's our goal. So 4th Texas Long Rifles, their job is to stand here-ish or wherever and snipe. That's all they're going to do. And I'm actually debating bringing the 4th over here and having the long rifles, or the Texas guys, the light infantry, who are not from Texas. Where is the 3rd from? North Carolina? They're going to come over here, and their job is to just do recon. My worry there is they're not going to gain any stats that way, and the snipers will at least have the opportunity to shoot across the river. So yeah, we are in fact going to have the 4th over here. Okay, so having sketched the broad scope of the battle, let's go ahead and jump in, shall we? Let's pause and issue our initial orders. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to send the 4th. What was that sound? Did you hear that? I'm going to send the 4th around the long way. I don't want them getting spotted. I sure as hell don't want them getting shelled. So, and it's going to take a little while for the rest of this stuff to kind of get unpacked in online anyway. So skirmishers, which already move pretty quick as it is, it's just, it's going to be fine. So we'll click on 3rd North Carolina, and we're going to get them in a position where they can spot. And everybody else is going to work on unpacking. Okay. So you notice, for the most part, I'm sending my regular formed line infantry over here into the open. That is not ideal in some cases. And depending on where their artillery is, they won't really have much of a line of shot on me. Now, this game doesn't really take into account the lines of sight as much as maybe I'd like it to. Terrain played a major factor in every engagement throughout the course of the real Civil War. And in the game here, everyone seems to have a pretty good time drawing a bead on whatever they want, which is fine. So I'm putting 3rd North Carolina here. I'm advancing with the Grenadiers. Again, it's a meatball unit. Their job is to essentially absorb shots. That's why they get guns that I have for free, and it's why they get just rookies the entire time. Everything else will kind of take a little bit of time to unpack here. That's not ideal. I did mention and then fail to explain, my apologies. Why am I having my guys advance into the open here. They are going to absorb some fire on the way in. The thought process is as follows. If they just sort of fill into the woods will take forever and a gosh darn day to... actually, let's go ahead and get one guy on Overwatch. Yeah, we already have one. Okay. So forever and a gosh darn day to get moving anywhere. It'll just take forever to go anywhere. So they're going to come here in the woods. The broad stroke of my maneuver, let me draw it out with MG Fiasco here. The broad stroke of my maneuver is to come here with the guys and then to move essentially in a fashion kind of like this into the woods. And the hope is that I'm going to push the Union away from this line. This is the line I want to hold. And then eventually, as we develop this position, I want to sort of take this and treat a hinge right meow and swing around. And then that way I'll have developed a position that looks kind of like this. You'll notice this is great cover. This is all pretty great cover in here. We have our first visible unit, thanks probably to the 3rd North Carolina. So they've got 1 unit split, 2 stars. Ward's Brigade is not huge. So I'm okay with it. I mean, I can't really do anything about it, obviously, but I'm not terrified of it. This is a little more concerning, but it's only a 1-star unit. The 3rd Maryland. PHB. I see those letters, and the only thing I can think of is Player's Handbook, and I know we're not talking about that, but maybe, what else could it be, obviously? All right, so I'm feeling pretty good about this. The 4th is coming in at the right angle as far as I'm concerned. I want them about here. This gives them the best opportunity versus anywhere else that I can think of to kind of do their job. These guys are doing plenty of marching, which is great. They're in the open, which is obviously not super ideal. And I want to have you guys conserve your ammunition. But let's start sort of sketching out what I want these units to do. So that's 15th. That's you. There's one more in there. There you are. Come back. All right. So this will all kind of shake itself out as we go. And the next thing I'd like to do is I'd like to split off some skirmishers and just protect my line a little bit. Because right now I'm advancing kind of blind. And the whole reason I turned skirmishers back on is to prevent that. It's not my intention to game skirmishers in this game. I know that they absolutely can be gamed. It's just I need to provide some level of recon and screening for my force, so I turn them on that way. Here we are. We have discovered their artillery, and this is going to work out perfectly because I'm going to be able to draw a line on the 15th Indiana and whoever else is shelling me that I currently can't see. But now we have a target, and I probably... Let's consider where we can shoot. So essentially, the Jameses need to really come pushed up. The Whitworths and the Sieges can shoot to about here. Let's get a siege unit. The Whitworth had the best example. So the Whitworth can shoot to about here, which tells me that I need to move everything up because the majority of their artillery is going to be hanging out in a spot right around here. So we're going to go ahead and advance with these 2 units. And I also learned that the Jameses really need to come up quite a bit. And the reason I say this is they're most effective. The James is in terms of performance in my mind, is kind of like it's a better 3-inch. Notice that the damage curve, so the range percentage is here. If you can see this on your screen, 84 at super close range percent damage. 32%, 28%, 21%, 15%. There's a drop off, as you can see. It's not quite linear. It's actually pretty close to linear, but it's not quite linear. What that means, though, is that mathematically, it's doing bad out here, and this is probably what I would say is its sweet spot. Right in here, given the differential between damage and risk, I'd say right around here is its sweet spot. And that being the case, I want the James to be able to shell troops. The James is today going to be predominantly a counter infantry gun. And so what that means is we're going to put it right back here. So it's still in cover, still in some degree of cover, it's still protected by all the troops in front of it, but it's going to have a good deal of reach. And we're seeing another unit. The Indiana boys seem to have caught on to our trick. And we have 2nd Illinois, 5th New York. These are big batteries, but they're actually about the same size as mine. Oh no, they're let me see. Probably 10 guns, I'd say. So here we go. Here you can see a big skirmisher unit. That's nerve-wracking. Utassi, and a 3rd Maryland, Ford. So 2,400 seems to be about their size. And then these guys split, which probably means that ward number 1 is right here. Okay, so one unfortunate side effect of my skirmishers is that because they can't see my skirmishers, okay. And there's a big cav unit. Uh-huh. So this is something I was a little bit worried about. Which is notionally that I would have a hard time drawing a bead with these sniper units. And it's always messy in this battle, just getting yourself into position. That's the biggest danger, or the biggest hard point that I run into, is you just need... It's always, like my past times playing this fight, it's always rough just getting yourself into position. And then once you're set up, everything's mostly okay at that point. But until you're ready to go, it's a hard time. So we're really only going to be able to use the snipers to neutralize one of these units. But we're going to be able to spot everything they've got. We can spot their entire unit, or entire roster, basically. Utassi is going to continue to be a problem. Our artillery is starting to be online. And yes, I do want the Whitworth shooting at 2nd Illinois. Yep, there's the 2nd Ward unit. We've knocked 40 some odd guys off of this unit, 45, I guess, to be exact. And this part we're just going to need to keep on just kind of keeping on. You know, it's there's the James unit still coming. All right, so the Siege unit and the Whitworths are both shooting at the same target. Snipers are doing the same. There's a short period of time here where I'm just going to be taking higher casualties while I push my way into the woods. And I think the goal, the dream, is to have 19th Virginia flank fire on Utassi because he's the biggest threat. Ward is annoying. Yeah, this is great. You're doing wonderful. You've gotten shot at some, but it's honestly well worth whatever casualties you've suffered at this point. This is not going to be super duper. I really want to remove 2nd Illinois from the equation as soon as I can manage. Ward equally is a problem. And these guys are annoying, but I'll be fine, is essentially kind of how that breaks down. But we need to get Utassi convinced that this is just not a good place to be, because right now we're eating canister from 2nd Illinois. So we just need to just degrade their position, and the 25th North Carolina gets to be their turn in the barrel. So we're going to go ahead and just put them, and they're the ones that are going to just soak it up for a while. One thing that's working out really well is because the AI is kind of freaking out. We've shattered one battery, which is excellent. So their general, Miles, is all the way over here. Now, I'm not that convinced that that's like game winning at this point in time, but he's not over here exhorting Utassi to get into the fight. So when these 3 or 4 units just kind of meander into Utassi, he's going to pretty rapidly, as you can see, decide like, oh, wait a second, that was a mistake. And he's going to start falling back. Now that gives me the opportunity to kind of push 19th Virginia up here. Oh, there's another battery. How interesting. Okay, that's fine. And then the Jameses can start doing their thing. We'd like to put the James on Ward's unit. Notice I've yet to give you a melee order to anybody. And we're going to get 8th Arizona as well in the back line. And we're whittling down on 2nd Illinois. We're causing like some damage to Ward, but really not much yet, as you can see. And I'm far less worried about 5th New York or 26th Indiana. I'm definitely not excited about their presence, but the worrisome unit for me right now is the one firing canister at my lines. And Ward will not be able to take that kind of abuse for forever, so there's that. I don't know how you're rear flanked. I agree that you're flanked. There's not really anything I can do about that. That's true. I just don't know how you're rear flanked. These units won't be able to stand up to this kind of abuse for long. They're trading well. The skirmishers are doing a great job. In that regard, I'd say that is very much the case. Okay, so now the issue I've got is that these skirmishers don't really have a viable target anymore. And that is kind of always a risk that I run when I do the strategy of having a unit over here. And so I'm actually debating kind of bringing them around and then having them camp out like right down here. Don't hug the river, though. It's a good way to get shelled. So let's have you actually come around that way. And what's worrisome is that I've wasted all that time. So they killed one battery, which is, I guess, one could argue definitely not a waste. But it's also for sure not the ideal utilization of the unit. They are, however, going to get a great deal of stamina out of this. Although, frankly, in this battle, everyone does. All right, so these guys are getting... they're doing okay. Making their rounds. 25th, having a bad day. Between Ward and the artillery, it's just not a good time. Thankfully, they decided that there's better targets out there. And I would actually like to remind them that there are better targets out there, that other targets exist. And our infantry has started piling shots into 2nd Illinois. So the Illinois won't be around much longer. Okay. Illinois won't be around much longer. Ward number 1 is worryingly still present, but there's no real reason for him to have run yet. No one's really convinced him that it's time to do so, so of course he's going to hold on. He's in a great position and probably trading very effectively. That being the case, however, while I am accepting some casualties in this instance, at this point the battle's pretty much already won. Unless some of these units fight far harder than I really have any reason to believe they will. Why do I say that? Once Ward and 2nd Illinois are out of the equation, this is a sort of a foregone conclusion at that point. So there's another battery gone. There you go. All right, so I'm less concerned about the other batteries at this point and can therefore advance a wee bit into position. You guys then need to change your split. You're fine there. Someone's wounded. That's fine. We've been in extended, prolonged, direct engaged combat for a while now, so that makes sense. I can't really fault them for that too much. Skirmishers are being whittled down. Grenadiers are unfortunately as well. Okay. This is an opportunity for the 3rd North Carolina to shine. This is the potential power, in my mind, of a light infantry unit like this. Yeah, I can't say I'm that surprised. Oh, it's one of those. Oh, no, it's not. Okay. You hold, do the thing. All right. If you're going to fire it like this, let's make sure that we stack the deck. Okay. We need to stop wasting our time fighting infantry in the woods. Not, in fairness, that these units don't just melt when they get shot at, I suppose. Okay. So this is far from ideal. That is, however, basically ideal. Good job, guys. Good job. Help clear this out. Get these units out of there. Okay. So, yeah. I guess I haven't said anything. So hi, focus on that. The issue is getting yourself set up. And once you're set up, it's pretty much like you're unassailable, and that's all she wrote. So I'm in this kind of ugly limbo phase, as you can see, where I'm still trying to get my guys into position and set up and everything else. And I'm being pulled a little bit in two, I'd say, different directions in terms of where I want to focus my attention. It's a little better now. We've got them kicked out. Now the guys that are here can kind of focus down on not there. You don't need to. That's fine there. Focusing on 3rd, they won't be able to take that for too much longer, I'd imagine. Utassi is getting kind of abused at this point. I'm surprised he's hung on as long as he has. Not that he's not like hung on. He's constantly gave ground, but he's also lost 1,000 guys. Same here. They're getting hammered from pretty much every direction. Not much longer, though, clearly. Hey, cool. You're online. All right, sweet. So let's get... You guys are doing fine. Yeah, great. And actually, you're probably fine there. That was one of the potential worries I had. And actually, the perfect target, perfect unit is 22nd Tennessee to handle this. They've been abused. They've taken all kinds of losses. It's completely my fault. And so they're the perfect unit to kind of clear some of that stuff out. Because this isn't really worth a 1,400 man brigade, but a battered unit like 22nd, absolutely great for that kind of thing. And even the Grenadiers. Let's get the Grenadiers moving too. So this is what I was talking about. Messy. Messy, 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 messy. I acknowledge that. But now we're in position. Now I don't see what they could possibly do at this point. Short of be annoying or cost me more casualties than I might like. I can't see them kicking me off the flag. I can't see them taking it back. I can't see, it's just not imaginable. Yeah, these guys are nice and tired. All right, one more artillery unit gone, as far as I can tell. Let's just really make sure that that's the case, though. So I want to destroy the skirmishers. They are annoying as hell. And can you imagine this fight if all of these units were 600 men? I think one of them was 500 guys. I think he's still running around, actually. That skirm unit is still kicking around somewhere out here. Okay. But we just keep going, and eventually they hit the back of the map, and they can't go anywhere. And they shatter. Or I waltz into them and we're in melee combat, whichever comes first. I'm worried about getting shelled some. Someone's trying to charge, but I'll be damned if I know who. Oh, really? Okay, that's cute. Poor you, Tatsy. He's had a rough go of it this round, I think. Oh, you're charging too. Also a fool's errand. Yeah, you just tired yourself out on the way over, didn't you? Yeah, there's the big skirm unit. Okay. No, just keep going. Keep right through it. Keep walking right through it. Annoying. Come on, just rotate, dude. Shoot them down. Another concern, 800 man cav unit. Larger than I would like. What I don't want to allow to occur is them running away in the back corner over here. So if I can do it, I actually kind of want to cap off. I kind of want to cap off the formation. So they're not going to really be able to route this way. And I would like to prevent them from, unless they, I guess, they could route through me. I suppose that's possible, and it's happened before. But otherwise, broadly speaking, when you have ranged everything, yeah, you guys are all fine. You got ranged everything that matters anyway. There's an artillery unit somewhere in here. I don't quite know where it is. It's Mya-ish. I see the shell coming out. So we want to get to that once we have to go through Utasi to get to it, I think. You don't need to run anymore. You're fine. All right, get up here so we can shell that one gun down, I guess. Oh, Chetlin, you are not helping anyone there. Let's rejigger this some, shall we? That's better. So I run into the issue in the past with this battle where I undercommit up here, and they squeak through somehow, and then I got to go hunt them down on the corner, and it's this just gosh darn nightmare. So I think what I'd like to do, if I can, is get Utasi the frack out of here. And then I'm actually willing to overcommit a wee bit up top because I've got artillery and 2 light units. So I can cap off this escape route and then just box them up. And then theoretically we can get a mass surrender. Probably not, I don't think, but we'll see. That's fine. Some shooting. Just working things out. One thing is that all of our artillery units are currently moving and doing so in a slow manner. But I need them to be up and therefore relevant, or to be up into a position wherein they can be relevant. And then now we just direct fire onto Shermer. We direct fire onto Shermer, get him out of the equation. Once that's the case, I feel much more confident in my ability to cap the Union position up, because we're looking pretty good right now, right? Like we're in cover, we're uphill. There's nowhere for them to go. As far as that's all concerned, we're doing gangbusters. We have taken roughly 20% casualties. Not wonderful. We're going to get some of that back. Are we at medicine 10 yet? We're near it if we're not there yet. just tired or what's going on? Oh, the whole world just unlocked for us. And what I was afraid of happening is definitely happening. Okay, new plan. We're going to work to cap off and destroy what we can. And then we're going to back off and see if we can like entice the AI to attack the flag or something. Actually, if I can, I want you here. I know there's a cav unit back here. I'm less worried about them, especially in the woods. But if I can body block these two units from trying to get deeper into the equation, I'm okay with that. Especially if especially if all it costs me is some stamina and grenadiers. Utassi, poor guy. He was like 2,400 guys when this whole thing got started. Yeah, there you go. That's pretty much all she wrote for him. So now we just get Shermer gone. Worrisome. But, I mean, far less worrisome now, that's for sure. And actually, you're the perfect candidate to go run them down. So you get on that. You rest up for a minute. You support them. You go fight. Not that there's a whole lot of fighting left. And our artillery's back online now, too, so there's that, too. I'd like to see if he actually makes it. Yeah, okay. I didn't really think so. Oh. Just straight up killed? That sucks. Oh well. both are in great condition. You've recovered quite a bit. You took out a colonel, so you got that going for you, I suppose. But other than that, I think you're much worse for wear. I guess I'm not really that in a hurry to go running in there. These units are still pretty big. And Trimble in particular is at full strength. Or near enough. Behold the meatball. All right. Oh, that's not really exciting. So let's go over here and see what's going on. Comedy of errors. Cool. This should go well for Ward. Went great. All right, now I'm feeling a little more confident about coming in on the attack. Specifically because if I can, I'd like to capture some of these. I imagine that will not be the case. I imagine Trimble will cause me some consternation. Nah, looks like I'm mostly okay. Yeah, I reckon we're fine. Yep, nice. That was quick. Good job, guys. All right, so you two can form up there. You two can form up there. You two can, I don't know, who cares? Y'all can do what you're doing, it's fine. All right, now the only thing left is these guys. And there's not a whole lot to this. There's nowhere for them to go except through me. Or surrendering. So anytime now. There's that. There you go. Cool. So I don't think we got the supply wagon. 3,200 losses. I think we'll get a third of that back. Yeah, not bad. Not bad. Grenadiers got mauled, 22nd Tennessee and 4th Virginia. Almost all of my losses were condensed there. This is all incidental stuff that I'm not going to get that worried about it. So how did this happen? I don't even know if I brought a major. It must have been a promotee. Yeah, so if this guy got wounded, that guy's, I don't know, whatever, sure. What we get? Cool, enough for another brigade of them. Recoveries, I guess. Yep, they have more Jameses and Parrots this time. Interesting. You can probably hear that train in the background, huh? Career point, rep points, shitloads of cash. We're loaded with, at this point, money, men, more recruit men. Cool. Sweet. So some units more picked up their perks. Another for the Whitworth unit. That's just extra range for a Whitworth unit, which is always a good time. I don't think any of them took casualties. Well, I don't have 30. I do have another one, but I don't want to make the unit bigger. All right, so let me see. Yeah, we have filled out medicine, which means I took, 3,300, so I got a third of that back, which is neatly a little under 1,000. Is that right? Yeah. Super. So light casualties. I still don't really feel like I need another point in AO. You know, I can barely fill these divisions as, or these core out as it is. 24 units per. I don't think they can even be bigger than 24 in the first place. Yeah, this is, ironically, my holding division is the closest thing I have to a full division. And this is 24 units on the slot, so we don't need another point in AO just yet. Politics, I don't feel a great need for. Econ wouldn't be a bad time. Training might actually be an okay idea. Recon would actually be a pretty excellent point as well. I'm not hurting. So the only thing I ever feel like I need to rush logistics for is so that I can buy a certain number of cannon earlier than I would normally have access to them, in enough number to form a battery. But I don't really ever need to worry about that anymore. I've got enough to spin up a whole other unit of James's. I've got enough to reinforce a unit of Blake's if I ever need to. Let's go ahead and buy those Enfields because we know we love Enfields. We are suffering a slight morale penalty because my general's been off in Richmond wheeling and dealing the whole time. The army's looking great. Everyone's fine for the most part. Even the Grenadiers have mostly become a regular infantry unit at this point in time. So where the hell does this want to go? Medicine's a great stat that's going to just continue to pay insane dividends, 33% dividends for the rest of the time. Gun discounts wouldn't hurt, I suppose. Recon, extra spotting for everybody. What does that end up meaning? Plus 125 spotting. And I'm guessing it's 150, 175, 200, so forth and so on. Yeah, that's useful. Definitely. It would save me. It would save me from bumbling into things. But with skirmishers, I'm mostly okay with the screen that I can put up. Yeah, I think we just do that. Discounts on guns, because that makes these all more affordable. Yeah, it gets the Enfield under $50, which is a good time. Good Lord. You've got to be able to hear that. I'm sorry, guys. And I can't really control when that comes by, and so that's not a good time either. I mean, the Harper's Ferry is now getting to be very affordable. The Tyler Texas is this weird gun that I like the performance of, but I never get enough of it in enough numbers to like matter, right? And for the same cost, eventually the CSR is this gun that I'm able to produce in large number eventually anyway. So I'm not right now, obviously, but sooner rather than later, I'll have a shitload of them. Holy fuck. I can actually sell enough of these. Man. Like I have all these guns that don't do shit for me. All right, so I bought all the Whitworths, cav weapons, love the Cookin' Brother, artillery. Okay, so that went great. I thought little heavier. Losses were a little more focused than I would like. I'll put it that way. So some units suffered barely at all, and some units suffered a lot. And I would have preferred that I kind of have a more even spread of where that damage goes around, because I'm guessing a bunch of these units are right on the edge. Yeah, that's fine. So, what's the plan for Antietam? Antietam, I'll talk more about on the actual Battle of Antietam, but I'm going to be putting my best foot forward, so to speak. I Corps will hold the left. We'll go ahead and put 2 Corps in the center, and we'll go ahead and stick the new unit on the right. I'm intending to fully load these two Corps, and I'll probably load you about halfway. So 24, 24, 12. That'll be quick math, 60 units ish on the field. I doubt I'm going to have, well, I'm not going to have I can't make a Corps to fit the reinforcement slot. And I genuinely don't think you ever need to. Like I frequently find myself not needing anything from 3 Corps to fight the battle with. Out of the game, I am wrapping up finals on one of my last semesters at in my MBA program. Pretty exciting stuff. So it's been just a hellacious week. I'm glad to have some downtime to go ahead and throw into a video here. And I'll get all this cleaned up off camera. I'm not going to make you watch me get this all set up. We'll get everyone back up to full strength. We'll spend a lot of this money probably, and then we'll get into that. So, and coming up then the next week will be Antietam, where the Union Army will be smaller, even smaller still. So 15% smaller than it should be because of all the additive effects. And the Confederate Army right now outnumbers in total manpower the Union Army. Let's call it 60,000. I'm pretty sure we outnumber them. No, we don't. Never mind. All right. I'll see you guys in the next video. This is Fiasco signing out.